Hello everybody and welcome to Front Row Racing on this Wednesday evening for the Front Row Racing World Championship round 17 from the Suzuka circuit in Japan. And your commentary team for today, Front Row Racing GP and Front Row Racing JS.
Thank you very much there, DP. Yes, I am Front Racing GP, also known as the Murray Talker, and with me in the commentary box this evening is Mr. James Shunt himself. Good evening, James.
Good evening. How are we all?
I'm not too bad. I'm going to start off though by saying our thoughts are with those friends and families of the injured and the ones that have unfortunately perished in the bombing in Manchester. Not a very nice thing to have to live through at the moment. So yeah, our thoughts at Front Row Racing are with all of those, and I'm sure, James, your thoughts are with them as well.
Oh, indeed. And as Donald Trump said, the perpetrators are losers, and yeah, especially when it were a bunch of kids involved and innocent people. What's the point?
Yep. There are many things that have happened in the last week or so that we could sit and talk about and say our thoughts with people for this and that and what have you. But we are here to entertain, so we're going to swiftly move on. What we're going to do is look at the drivers that we've got on the grid for this event in the World Championship at Japan. So on the grid, and I haven't got my team names out in front of me, so here we go. Let's see if I can remember these. I'm pretty sure it's the Trailblazers Mercedes of Temp Fear and Stocky, and then we've got the GG Well Played GG Well Played Ferrari of Overdykink and Jamie James. And they were away at the last event because they went to watch the F1 in Spain, and I understand that Jamie James won some free tickets for the following year, which is rather good of him. I'm going to put my name down for one of them though. Next up is Team Banter, or is it Just Banter? Just Banter Racing Williams of GT5 King and Mornay 77. Then we've got the Danish Dragons in the Red Bull of Mr. Hamilton 44 and Bleeding Sunrise. We've got the Moving Chicane Force India coming to get you, and in there we should have Duo Finn, but he may be a little bit late, so we've got a few minutes yet before he jumps in the lobby, before we have to lock it out, unfortunately. Moving on, you may notice a new driver here in the A2W Renault Sport. James, one of your teams that you've been keeping an eye on for this season, and a team that you've been wanting to score some points. Well, a complete changeover of drivers from what we had at the start of the season. We've now got Braken Clays and a new debutant of Aircut. So, James, want to keep an eye on there for you?
Oh, I've been waiting for something spectacular to come out of the Renault team, seeing as they've had very few points this season. And I'm looking forward to this new driver who we've heard around the paddock is quite a speedy runner.
He is at that, and definitely one to keep an eye on. Moving on down the driver list in the what is that, Toro Rosso? Prancing Rosso, Toro Rosso, Simo 911 and F1 Roadrunner. Simo 911, good few races just recently, could be on the podium again. Keep an eye out for him. Front Racing JS in the commentary team, so he won't be in the Sauber on the circuit. McLaren Honda drivers have gone AWOL. I'm wondering, whether they've gone off to Indy. Oh, Bartman, he's returned. He's not in Indy. It must just be Hammer Time that's gone off to Indy this week. Okay, so moving on down then, we've got the Manor, the admin's pick, Manor Rookie. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Is it Manor Rookie? Wookie Manor? Chewbacca, that's the one.
Steve, it was you that came up with the name for it, the Chewbacca Wookie.
Chewbacca Wookie. Okay, and in there we've got Schmet. And I understand that this is a clone of another driver we've got. Who's he a clone of, Dave? Please remind us.
Mornay, he's Mornay 2.0. It was an interesting message we got to Front Row Racing a few weeks ago that sort of went, "Hi, my name's Morton. I'm a friend of Morton. I'd like to join your World Championship reserves." It's like, okay, fair enough. But yeah, he's a friend of Mornay 77's, and he's raced with him before, and he's done quite well in the World Championship reserves. Be interesting to see how he gets on today.
Yep, and the last team on the grid, not necessarily being at the back, but they are the last on the list at the moment, and that is the Assassin Haas F1 Lunatic Assassin Haas F1 team of Certek Karatepe and Erna Urchum. And so there we are, and I believe that means we're just one driver down, DP, at the moment.
Well, I have some information from Hammer Time 95. Unfortunately, he hasn't gone to Indy. He has sunburn on his neck that's so bad that he can't drive, unfortunately. Obviously, we are going to wait. I might give it one more minute to see if Duofin is able to get online and come in. So we won't go to the track just yet, but it is sort of Duofin that we are waiting on at the moment. But Steve, I was just wondering if you wanted to mention that it's a little bit of a sad day in the Front Row Racing World Championship commentary box today.
It is, and well, I don't know why sad. I thought we were having a party later.
Well, yeah, we are.
Does James not know about that party?
Apart from James.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. In case anyone wasn't aware, this is going to be Front Row Racing JS's last commentary for the World Championship. James, why are you leaving us?
Oh, work, unfortunately.
You got a job at Sky, have you?
Well, you know, they've been touting round. I did mention some names, but put my own name in the at, and yeah, no, unfortunately it's not Sky. It would be nice. However, yeah, due to work commitments, I am no longer going to be able to contribute in the commentary box for the F1 World Championship.
Well, you know what? It is going to be a shame to lose you from the commentary box, because it has been a pleasure working with you.
It's not been. I was going to say, it's not been a pleasure. It's been absolutely epic working with James.
It's been absolutely epic. Oh yeah. And actually, in honour of you having done commentary, James, question of the day is all about you today, and we'll get on to that in a few moments' time. Okay, I am going to now lock. I just want to check, see if Duofin is online at all, and if he's not, I am going to lock the lobby, and then we'll be able to send the drivers over to the track. So while I'm just sorting that out, guys, do you want to take us through the last race results, and we can do the stand-ins as well?
James, over to you for the race results.
Yeah, lovely. So, Mr. Hamilton, 44. Last week, he went and won the race. However, because he had no footage available, he was disqualified. So that promoted Simo 911 to the race win in the Prancing Rosso Toro Rosso. Then P2 was coming to get you in the Moving Chicane Force India. Then we had the GG Well Played Reserve, and I'm trying to rack my brains who that Ferrari driver was last time out, who did a fantastic job to get P3.
It was RMS Maranello.
Maranello. So once again, even though both full-time Ferrari drivers were away soaking up the sun in Spain, the reserve turned up of Maranello, and yeah, made all the people in Maranello very happy getting P3. Bleeding Sunrise got P4, Stocky got P5, which is pretty mediocre for Stocky's likings. Breaking Clays picking up some decent points for the Racing Renault team. Then we've got Mornay 77 in 7th place. In 8th we had Certek Karatepe. P9 we had Erna Urchum, and then in P10 we had GT5 King rounding out the points runners. Then we had in P11 F1 Roadrunner. P12 was Hammer Time 95. P13 was Temp Fear. P14 was Duofin. P15 was Will Butler, and Mr. Hamilton 44, along with the non-finishers, was in P16. And the Rookie Manor was in 17th place, and I think Bartman, maybe he got disqualified. He's down at the bottom there.
And so Bartman was unable to start that race, unfortunately.
Right, so there we go. That is the finishing positions of the previous round.
Okay, so over to the Drivers' Championship standings, and it's lucky, even though Stocky did finish down the grid order there, you know, the finishing order, crucial points for him, because it moves him up to the top of the Drivers' Championship onto 231 points. Mr. Hamilton, though, the points that he lost, this is how tight it is. He's on 229, so 3 points between them. That is not a lot of points at all. Okay, so in third place, over Dykink on 122, but in reach of him, we've got Simo on 108, Tempfear 106, Coming to Get You on 93. They can all get into that third place position. So then in seventh, we've got F1 Roadrunner on 62, and right behind him, Jamie James on 61, Mornay on 56. In 10th place, we've got Hammer Time on 48, Bleeding Sunrise on 40. The admin picks rookie car is on 39 points. Bartman is on 35, GT5 King 31, Breaking Clay's on 8, W Butler, who's no longer with us, on 4, Surtek Karatepe 4, Ern Urcham 3, and Duo Finn on 1 point. DP, over to you for the constructors.
Yeah, the constructors standings, there's as much of a battle in there as there is on the Drivers' Championship standings. The Danish Dragons Red Bull team, that's Mr. Hamilton 44 and Bleeding Sunrise, they lead the way on 339 points. However, only 2 points behind them are the fearless Trailblazers Mercedes of Stocky and Tempfear. In third place, we've got GG Well Played Ferrari on 198, but that third place is not secured because the Prancing Rosso Toro Rosso are only 1 point behind them. And also, the Lunatic Assassin Racing Haas team, they're on 194 points, so there's 4 points between third and fifth. In sixth place, we've got Moving Chicane Racing Force India on 114 points, and not that far behind them are the underdogs McLaren, although with only having Bartman at the track today, going to be difficult for them to get a lot of points. Team Banter Williams are in 8th place on 87 points, so there is a bit of a fight there from 6th to 8th. In 9th, we've got the FRR Chewbacca Rookie Manor on 39 points, while the A2W Racing Renault team have 12. And we are at the circuit, and I'm wondering what the weather is, guys.
It's interesting. James, bring us the weather report for the qualifying and the race, if you would.
Ooh. Yeah, so it's looking to me like it's current track temperatures 28 degrees, air temperatures 20 degrees. It's saying that it's going to be mainly cloudy but not rainy.
Are you sure?
See about tomorrow, so later on, 20 minutes in. It's been very slow to update. I'm not too sure what it's going to do. It's just showing 15 minutes still cloudy.
Well, I can update you. On my screen, it's showing rain from the start of the race for at least 20 minutes. So it looks like we could have a wet start to the race. Now drivers, they'll get to see that, and they're heading out to the track already. There's 3 different compounds available here, guys. There's a soft tyre, yellow mark, the medium tyre, the white marked, and the hard tyre, the sort of orangey marked tyre. And the hard tyre is the only mandatory tyre. However, if it rains at the start of the race, then the mandatory tyre doesn't take effect. And if any of the drivers gamble that it is going to rain at the start of the race, they can just fully attack qualifying on the fastest tyres that are available. However, just before this qualifying session gets going, I did mention that question of the day is dedicated to you, James. So would you like to know what question of the day is?
Go on.
Okay. Question of the day is obviously dedicated to James, with it being his last World Championship commentary. So my question is, what was the location of Front Row Racing JS's first World Championship commentary? Bonus points if you can get the season and the round as well. But location of Front Row Racing JS's first World Championship commentary.
I can't remember myself. I'm thinking the last World Championship race I competed in was Malaysia. But I know Malaysia's changed around. I'm not too sure what the following round would have been. But well, yeah, I'll think about that and I'll come back to you.
Okay, GP, you got any thoughts on that before we get onto the drivers flying laps?
Well, I know that I moved over from World Championship to World Series, so I could commentate, and I'm pretty sure I commentated for a couple of races before I commentated with James. And I can't remember, but I just got this funny feeling it was Texas. I don't know why, but that's quite late in the season. But maybe that was just a one-off for at that point. I don't know, but I've got a funny feeling Texas was something to do with it. But that's my random guess. But just to let you know, I'm on board with Stocky at the moment, who is on circuit on the softest compound tyre, And for this race, it is the softest compound called soft, which makes it a bit easier for us. He's done a 35.3 sector 1, and he's just coming up to the end of sector 2. Doesn't look that quick at the moment, a 43.1. Maybe it's a bit cloudy out there.
Well, I can just say that Aircut, the new Renault driver, has smashed that with a 35 dead in sector 1, a 42.6 in sector 2, and a 16.8 in sector 3, and he's banged in the fastest qualifying time, which is 1:34.4.
Yeah, and Stocky just on a 1:35 there. And I can see those times coming down. I think that was just more for bankers. I did see Temp Fear out on circuit on a set of mediums, which surprised me. Because if it is going to be a wet start, you're going to be wanting to be out on the softest of compounds. Mr. Hamilton is just coming to finish his lap. How do these sectors compare? A 34.6 and a 42.7. 2 corners to go for him. And he's gone for the pit lane.
Well, he was up in sector 1, but down a little bit in sector 2.
Okay.
Looks to me as though Stocky's going for another flying lap. He's gone 35 dead in sector 1. I'm not too sure if this is going to be able to trouble the new Renault driver that has really just sprung through, as we've got yellow flags flying through the spoon section.
Just going to say, Sir Takko Tepe's on the mediums. He's just crossed the line and gone 5th on mediums. Not a bad time he put in there with him being on the mediums, to be honest.
What was his lap time, sorry?
It was 1:35. I believe it was. It was a late 1:35. But Stocky just gone through that sector 2 with a 43 dead.
Yeah, so
he's down though.
Yeah, I think he may be coming to the realisation that this new Renault driver is going to be a bit of a handful.
Yep, Erna Urchin, the next one to come across the line, or is he going to go for the pit box? No, he's heading for the line. It's not going to be front row, but where's it going to be? That keeps him P9. Who else have we got out on circuit?
Looks like Schmet's on a flying lap, and he's got a Toro Rosso right behind him, which could be Simo. Yeah, Schmet has just got out of the way for him. That's freed Simo up, but it may have compromised Simo a little bit. But it did look like Schmet was going for another flying lap up until the point he realised, okay, I might be holding someone.
Yeah, I was just going to change camera to Simo, and I changed camera onto his teammate, who's just gone P4, F1 Roadrunner P4. Not too bad there from F1 Roadrunner. So let's find...
Get on board with Simo, because he's not gone quickest in sector 1, but he's not far off it, and he's currently sitting in pole as it is on the medium compound time.
That surprises me that he's on pole with the medium. Maybe it is just the temperature suiting that slightly harder compound, and he can get a few laps in back to back on him. What do you think, James?
Well, we know that he's probably a demon at setup, and looks to me like he's managed to work out a decent way to have not too much aerodynamic drag around this circuit, which really will kill your lap time. But yet he must have really decent mechanical grip through sector 1. We've got a car stationary in the final corner.
That might be Bartman. Just to let you know, F1 Roadrunner has posted fastest sector 1 of 34.574. He's not far away from the end of sector 2, and it's been looking pretty good. So you may want to see how he gets on there.
Okay, he's heading towards that sector 2 line now, a 42.7. So he's currently sat in 4th. Will he be able to improve on it? Let's find out. As he goes, he's got the Casio chicane. What is it called? The Casio triangle, I believe it's called. Goes past the debris of Bartman's vehicle, heads towards the line, and he stays 4th. But I think he may have improved his time on that.
Yes, I think he did a little bit, yeah.
Stocky's on an outlap, DP. Let us know when he's about to start one, if you wouldn't mind.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, go on. I was just going to say Aircut's on another flying lap, but it doesn't look to be as quick as his previous.
Okay, Overdiking's just gone past that second sector, but it's a 45.3 in the second sector, so that's not as quick as we would expect. But we'll see what he's going to do towards the line. Is it an in-lap, or is it across the line he's going to go? He's going to head for the line. Can he improve on his 12th position? He would be hoping so. No, it's still 12th. Okay, let's go and find Cut. And we've also got Mr. Hamilton out there on a set of mediums.
Yeah, so Cut just headed through the spoon. Now he's heading towards 130R. It's all about clench your butt cheeks and turn in.
Just to update you, Mr. Hampton 44, sorry, sector 1 of the 34.6 on mediums.
Okay, we'll come and jump on him in a moment. Eckert heads towards the line.
Yeah, did a very tight line there. He took pole. That's very nice from Eckert. But that was, yeah, very awkward line out of the chicane. He tried to make it as short a distance to the finishing line as possible.
Yeah, I think that's what Bartman might have tried to do, and yeah, he caught the wall, whereas Eckert managed to avoid it. Yeah, Mr. Hamilton on his flying lap, 42.2, sector 2. Is that a purple DP?
Time. It is,
42, yeah, wow. James, is this going to be pole position?
Could be, could indeed.
Well, there was a couple of attempts down in sector 1, but there's a few attempts up. There you go, pole position.
It's the first one in the 33s. It's a 33.944, and that is for Mr. Hamilton 44.
Stocky is on his flying lap now, heading through sector 1.
Let's get with Stocky then. James, talk us through Stocky's lap if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I'll just get on board.
Oh, you don't need to. Oh no, that was lag.
Oh.
It looked like he was in the gravel then, but he wasn't.
Oh, no,
Carry on, James.
Good. No, you're right. So, heading towards the very tight. Oh, I'm getting me corners confused. I was about to say Degner, but we're not in Monza, are we?
No, that's Lesmo.
Which ones am I getting confused with?
It's in Japan, it's the Degners.
My brain were like playing tricks on me, going, no, it ain't Degner, that's Monza. So, yeah, heading towards the spoon now, and he's hoping that it's not going to be too greasy for him round this spoon. He needs to galvanise as many points as he can this weekend, and needs to get himself some decent grid position as he's currently sat in 11th place. He's getting a nice little bit of tow from his teammate, and we've seen that they like to play games, but looks to me like Tempfear may be slightly in the way there. May not have slightly put him off, but hopefully that may gain Stocky a fair few tenths if he's running high downforce, and he's clipped the inside grass bit.
Whoa.
And there we go, P1, so teamwork does work wonders.
Okay, Bleeding Sunrise and Mornay are both about to cross the line, one after the other. No, Bleeding Sunrise has pitted. Mornay 77, currently in 15th, goes 8th.
Okay, yeah, Bleeding Sunrise about to head to the line, but while we're just watching that, DP, drivers pre-race comments, I want you to do the the Mercedes ones when you can, because there was an interesting question asked to Tempfear, and seeing what they've just done there, I'm just wondering whether that tow was deliberate from Tempfear.
Well, it could well have been. I mean, I will give you the questions or the comments from Stocky and Tempfear. With Stocky, he was asked, what is the biggest challenge, the circuit or beating Mr. Hamilton 44? And he said, well, Suzuka. Well, it has always been a personal favourite of mine across all of the F1 games that I've played. It's an interesting circuit with a little bit of everything. The biggest challenge is always beating Mads. That's Mr. Hamilton 44. He's an exceptional driver who I have a lot of respect for. Beating him is never easy, but I've managed it before, so I hope I can do it again. Now, Stocky's teammate Tempfear, as we know, is the reigning World Championship champion and has had a season of sheer bad luck. Now, he was asked, how is your Japanese? And he was also asked, will you play the number 2 role to help your teammate become the next Drivers' Champion?
Just let you know, Temp has matched his teammate in sector 1 and 2. He's just coming around the final corner now.
Okay, let's see where he gets himself. 3rd place. It's a good position to be in. So yeah, Tempfear said, no, Steve, those 3 Japanese, be careful with your comments tomorrow. And what do you think to the last question? I'll let you decide, knowing what I'm like. Depends how I feel. So I guess the question comes back to yourself, Steve, and you, James. Will Tempfear help Stocky become the next World Championship Drivers' Champion?
I think we've just seen it. There's a case that he will. So I think that tow was deliberate, and that's in my opinion.
Yeah. And if anything, I think Stocky really does need Tempfear up there with him as his rear gunner. He needs to make sure that Tempfear is giving Mr. Hamilton 44 a real, give him something to think about, and play the Valtteri Bottas role that he did last week in Spain as the rear gunner for Lewis Hamilton.
Yep, just letting know, I thought Jeremy James was about to set a lap time, but he's not. He hasn't set a lap time yet. Currently sitting in 16th place as Stocky also returns back to the pits. Let's see, GT5 King, he's on a lap at the moment, heading through Spoon on a set of soft tyres.
Okay, let's find GT5 King. We also noticed Braken Clays is in Sector 1 as well, and he's only down in the 11th place. So we've got 11th and 12th currently on circuit, looking to improve. What can GT5 King do? Sector 2, it's a 43.7. Probably not as quick as he would have wanted, but it may have been improvement on what he'd already done through the Casio Triangle.
He's down in Sector 2 there, I'm afraid.
And I think he knows it. He's gone for the pit lane. So let's jump back to Braken Clays, James. 43.7.
Yeah, it's not bad, that. Not too shabby. It's running through Spooners. Sector 3 is very, very short indeed around this circuit, so Sector 2 is where the bulk of the time is. Just trying to think. Stocky Sector 2 was a 42.2. It's just done a 42.5, so he's just lost out there about 3/10, but he can try and make it up into the final chicane now. Not too shabby through there. Getting the right foot slammed to the deck, and what's it going to be? 8th? Oh, he may be wanting a bit more than that.
Yeah, it's getting very tight.
Information for you. Overdyking just started a flying lap on soft tyres. Mr. Hamilton 44 on an out lap on the soft tyres. His previous time set on mediums, but yeah, Overdyking heading through Sector 1 now.
So here he is then, coming through the knuckles and heading up towards the Dunlop left-hander in a moment, because there's another knuckle to go around first. So here's the left-hander of Dunlop. James, what's your thoughts on Suzuka? Is it one that you enjoyed racing around?
Yeah, most people say that Hungary is very much like Monaco. However, for me,
carry on, James. I'm going to move away. I'm just going to move away from Dom because he's just invalidated his lap. So we'll carry on.
Mr. 44 is on his flyer.
Okay.
So carry on, James.
Sector 1 is a 34.4. That's not too shabby. It's just coming up towards Sector 2, and then we'll work out what
James, give us the microphone! His lap's been invalidated. Simo has done a 34.1, Sector 1, purple.
Right. And Mr. Hamilton's 34.2 Sector 1 as well. So, yeah, both are on it. James, right. You can have a little talk for a minute. What do you want to say?
You know what? I forgot already.
So, I know what. I've just realised what we can give you as a leaving present. A microphone.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, go on. Over to you.
You can talk, and then you talk over it. Mr. Hamilton 44 is about to get to the end of Sector 2.
Yeah, he's just heading towards 130R, and yeah, he's looked blistering so far with a 34.2 Sector 1, a 42.2 Sector 2. Shoving it into the final chicane, absolutely clobbering those curbs, leaving no time on the table. Is he going to take the long route? Is he going short? He's going short. And what's it going to be? P1.
Ooh.
Well, Simo had put himself in second place, but he's now been bumped down to third. Stocky's been bumped down to second, and he's in the pits. There's nothing he can do. Coming to get you, just starting a flying lap as well. Quite a few drivers out there on laps at the moment.
And unfortunately, that's bumped 10th Fear down to P5. So if Stocky wanted a rear gunner, now he's really got a rear gunner because he's well down. He probably needed him to be in P3 or 4 if he wanted him to really interrupt Mr. Hamilton 44 as he runs down towards turn 1.
What's your thoughts though on the as we're booted away from the pit lane? What are your thoughts on strategy? Not necessarily strategy, but setup wise. If you're knowing that the start of the race is going to be likely to be full wet, do you qualify with a wet setup on, or do you think, well, it might dry up in the race, I can go with a bit of a wet setup?
Well, for me, I always go, you know what, you're probably going to make up more time.
Sorry, Simo might be about to take pole.
Let's have a look. Let's flick on board with Simo. But yeah, I always think if you're gonna
he does!
Oh, lovely. So the Toro Rosso jumps to P1. So yeah, I always think even if it's going to rain, you're going to lose a load of time if you're running round on a dry setup. However, once it dries out, you do not want to be a sitting duck, and you can make up heaps of time. Once it dries out and you've got a dry setup and a decent straight line speed, you can be picking off people left, right and centre when it comes to the end of the race.
Coming to get you is just about to cross the line. He's currently sat in 5th. Does he improve his position? And I believe that stays 5th for him. And that was the last guy out.
He just went from 11th to pole.
What?
So
I missed it.
That was
It wouldn't let me jump on
last
him.
minute. But unfortunately, we can't even get on board with him to enjoy his victory lap. But that was very much out of nowhere. Gone and snatched pole, and Mr. Hamilton is going to be starting in P3.
Yeah, when we mentioned that Acutt's pretty good. He did a lap time of a 1:33.114 with sector times of a 34.2, a 42.1, a 16.6. I don't think he was purple in either of those first two sectors, but he was fast enough over the whole course of the lap to take pole position.
Well, we heard there were rumblings in the paddock that he was going to be the new Schumacher. Absolutely blisteringly quick, and he's not disappointed on his debut in the World Championship.
That is going to raise a few eyebrows because he's not been with Frontline Racing that long, and there'll be some people along this pit wall here that'll be thinking, who is he? Where did he come from?
Well, there's probably a few people along this pit wall that are thinking, I want to see the footage of his quali lap.
Yeah,
because obviously ETL rules are in place in the Formula Racing World Championship, and when a driver comes along and they're quick, yeah, the other drivers, they're going to jump on it, I reckon.
I'm sure they will do. James, when the qualifying order comes up, if you could please read through it for us, that'd be great stuff. Yeah. And for his debut in Frontline Racing, to get it on pole like that, and to mix it up though as well with Mr. Hamilton and Stocky, and that is going to be interesting for the title fight.
Oh, indeed. I mean, these drivers, they really want to focus on the title, and the last thing they need is for somebody with no hope and a prayer of the title, but every hope and a prayer of a win, turning up and spoiling their fun. So here we go. P1 was Acutt. P2 is Simo 911. P3 is Mr. Hamilton 44. Stocky in P4. So both 3 and 4, Mr. Hamilton and Stocky are the title contenders. P5 we've got Mornay 77. P6 we've got Coming to Get You. P7 we've got Temp Fear. P8 we've got Sertak Karatepe. P9 we've got Overdykink. Bleeding Sunrise in P10. F1 Roadrunner in P11. P12 is Break and Clays, and then we've got GT5 King in P13. Jammy James in P14, Erner Urcham in P15, and the rain is hammering down. Schmet in P16, and Bartman is between the commentary team starting at the back, but that might not be a bad way to start at the back and sort of see what goes on in these heavy rain conditions, as everybody's going to be starting on the blue mark tyre.
Yeah,
looking at the weather report, we've got some different symbols up there. We've got heavy rain into what I can only assume would be thunder kind of driving rain, which is heavier than heavy rain, sort of monsoon conditions, and then into light rain for a couple of periods before it dries off. So I think we're going to have pretty much a bit of everything here.
Well, this could be a game changer. People who were quick in the qualifying session may be blisteringly slow in the race.
But also people who were slow in qualifying may be blisteringly quick in the wet conditions.
Exactly.
So the likes of the Ferraris that have qualified perhaps a little further down the grid than I would have expected, maybe they've gone for the wet setups in anticipation of this, because this is a circuit where in really wet conditions you don't want to be on a dry setup, because if you can't make it through sector 1 you're going to be a sitting duck everywhere. So as the viewers wait for Racing GP to come back into the lobby, but I will wait until Formula Racing GP comes back in, just so we can make sure that everybody can hear us.
I'm back. You're right. They'll be able to hear you.
Okay, yeah, so Acutt, it's his first permanent race, and Braken Clays, it's not an easy situation for Braken Clays and Acutt, but Acutt was, it was said, congratulations on your permanent seat, how did your preparation for this race go? And he said, hi guys, I would like to thank you first for the invitation, and of course we can talk about my preparation for the race. My preparations have gone very well. I've been concentrating on the race speed and was able to boost myself day by day. I am very happy to be able to compete with the best drivers, and I hope I can hassle some of them. Many thanks. Trust me, A-Cut, you have hassled them. And his teammate, Braken Clays, he was asked, how is the relationship between you and your new teammate? And Braken Clay said, well, I'm not sure about the tyres, which tyres to bring. The relationship between me and A-Cut, we didn't manage to chat much after I confirmed him as my teammate, because I've been very busy and didn't get enough practice. So Braken Clay's perhaps on a little bit of a back foot for this event, but A-Cut, sitting on pole, got a fantastic opportunity.
Definitely has, as he's bringing it round now for a corner to go, and he's not taking his time on this warm-up lap. Or should we say get wet lap. He's hurried himself round to that pole position, and we'll have to wait a while for the rest of the teams to come round. James, anybody apart from A-Cut that you think the viewers should be keeping an eye out a bit further down the grid?
Well, we know the Ferrari boys have had a week away, but they are decent in wet conditions. But I mean, the main thing for me there from them comments were, I liked them. They were very, very polite, thanking for the place to race. However, there were also a little bit of cockiness in there, saying I'm hoping to hassle the front runners, and I think that's what we want here. We want a little bit of spice as we head towards the end of the championship.
Definitely. Most interesting comments though came from Simo. We asked him, what should we expect from you here at Suzuka, and he just said podium.
And do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if we do see him on the podium. It's absolutely thrown it down with rain. It's meant to get even harder than this. The rain's meant to come down even heavier. It's going to be an eventful event. We are waiting for those lights to come on. The back of the grid has formed up, so we're going to jump back to the front car of A-Cut as we wait for those lights. They're coming on. When 5 lights go out, that's when we will go racing. The lights go out and we go racing. They head down towards turn 1. They're all starting to move way off the line. And can Simo make a move up the inside into turn 1? A-Cut doesn't want to cover it off. It gives him the space, but he's going to run wide onto the Astro. That's going to be compromising towards turn 2. Simo's going to have the line out of 2, got better traction. Can he keep it though into turn 3? It's all starting to bunch up a bit behind. A-Cut very tight on the apex, giving Simo plenty of space. Mr. Hamilton very, very close up behind with Stocky as well. Hamilton and Stocky wanting to get past as soon as possible to try and get away from each other. And it looks like Stocky settled into 4th place. Very, very busy up at the front. Anything happening further down the grid, guys?
Well, I was just going to say there, Simo looked a little bit out of shape, but he's managed to hold off the pack. But can you see anything about DP?
Yeah, Braken Clay's just had an unfortunate little moment off track, a little bit of contact with one of the Mercs, nearly a big contact with one of the Ferraris. He's lost a few positions now, down to 13th place. Oh, an F1 Roadrunner, big sideways, over Eiking, has to avoid him. Braken Clay's tries to overtake both of them as they go side by side into their hairpin. But actually, I think everybody's still going.
Yeah, everybody's still going, but somebody who is a surprising sitting duck. Seems to me, A-Cut in P2, Hamilton 44, it's all over his rear wing, and Simo 911 in P1 is just running away with this. The rear end looks very loose on that Renault.
I'm wondering if he's got a dry setup on his car.
Well, this is opportunity for everybody else, but Stocky looks to have a decent bit of straight line speed as well as Mr. Hamilton 44. And Mr. Hamilton 44 is trying to run on with it, but he's gone wide there, and this might give Stocky an opportunity around the outside. And
that is one driver Mr. Hamilton's not going to want to let past easily.
Oh! He's turned in on Stocky there, and now it looks like a Force India's trying to mate with both of them, and the title contenders side by side down the pit straight. Who's going to come out on top?
Well, when you say on top, it could be on top of who? Not necessarily in front. And we've got Coming to Get You coming up very close behind as well. This is unbelievable fight here.
This is absolutely epic.
I was just about to.
I was
sorry,
going to say...
GT5 King having a battle with Schmet at the back. GT5 King managed to get through. Sorry to interrupt, carry on.
No, that's cool. So Coming to Get You, Mornay really, really chomping at the bit to get on with these front runners. And then behind it we've got a Haas and another Red Bull.
That's Sertak Kadatape, last race driver of the day, going from the back of the grid up to about 8th or 9th. He's under pressure from Bleeding Sunrise. No, Sertak's gone wide. That lets Bleeding Sunrise through. It also lets Temp Fear through. And here now comes Breaking Clays. A little bit of contact between the Haas and the Renault. And Jamie James sneaks through.
Up at the front, Hamilton's just gone up the inside of Aircut at the hairpin, and here comes Stocky. I think they're both trying to galvanise on the Renault as the rear end looks so loose. But he's cutting off Stocky so that he doesn't have a little bit of a cheeky run up the inside towards the spoon, but everybody's just jumping on Aircut, and I think Stocky needs to, because he can't let Mr. Hamilton run away now.
Yeah, you're right, he definitely can't, and he also can't afford to allow... Oh, he's side by side with A-Cut now, and A-Cut's ran a little bit wide. This is his opportunity. Coming to get you may also be able to get through as well. He's got the slipstream of one car, now the slipstream of the other car, and is he going to be able to do it side by side into the R130? And yes, he manages to sneak through. A little sideways, but he's done it.
So once again, we're showing there that that dry setup is not working for Aircut, and Mr. Hamilton has made a bit of a mistake in the final chicane, and Stocky almost ran onto the grass there. Looks really, really uncontrollable at the moment. Everybody's tension's so high.
Mornay now's having a look at A-Cut down in towards turn 1 as well.
Right.
But just behind Temp Fear, side by side with Bleeding Sunrise. Bleeding Sunrise runs wide, and that allows Temp through to 7th place.
Right, so it's all pretty much who's going to snatch places up at the front. It looks like the Renault of Aircut is a falling stone at the moment, currently down in P5, starting from P1. And,
do you think,
yeah.
Do you think it's pressure? Do you think it's pressure with it being its first race and difficult conditions, or is it just down to that setup?
Sorry guys, Temp Fear and Bleeding Sunrise ever so close. Temp Fear's just had a big twitch. They're side by side towards the Degners. A little bit of contact between the two of them. Temp Fear gets through, but here now comes Jamie James and Breaking Clays in on the action as well.
Yeah, so it's all kicking off. Jamie James on the outside and Breaking Clays on the... He's coming towards the hairpin. And the Red Bull is... trying to not lock up a bit of oversteer, and Jamie James is all out of shape, and Breaking Clays, this may be an opportunity for him, but Jamie James is just shutting the door on him. That was very rude there from Jamie James.
So just to point out, Jamie James in the Ferrari, Breaking Clays in the Renault, Bleeding Sunrise in the Red Bull just ahead of them. Also, this is no assist racing. These guys have no traction control, they have no ABS, they race with manual gears, and for having wheel-to-wheel battles like they are doing in these conditions is, James, absolutely epic.
Well, what isn't epic is GT5.
Hang on, whoa, Jamie James and Breaking Clays side by side, 130R, and well, Breaking Clays gets the position. Jamie James, nothing he could do about it. Simo sets the fastest lap of the race.
Just a bit of news for the viewers, Simo 911 is absolutely flying away out in front. Stocky in P3 trying to hunt down Mr. Hamilton 44 in P2. Mr. Hamilton 44's run wide, so is Stocky coming to get you. Looks like he's got a decent setup on that Force India as well.
Well, I'm just hoping that that setup he's got on that car is a wet one, because if it's not, he's going to be struggling, and it doesn't look like he's struggling at the moment, to be fair.
Yeah, it looks like Mornay is going to be chomping past Aircut. He just needs to try and do a Max Verstappen and try any route which Aircut isn't taking. I think he might be trying that right round the outside. No, he's trying the racing line, and that ain't going to work when there's a car on the racing line. So Mornay will just have to wait for another opportunity now.
Yep, so Aircut was the pole sitter, and he was only the pole sitter by, I think it was something like 300ths of a second.
Breaking Clays, all out of shape. Jamie James all over the back of him, but he almost lost it through Degner 1. Collected it in Degner 2, and Jamie James almost collected his front wing and his rear wing there.
Wow, and it's about now we're going to expect this rain not to ease up, but to probably even be a bit more driving, which is going to make visibility into these corners even more difficult for these guys. It said for us a one-stop race on these wet tyres, but I've got a feeling that they're going to need probably to shift onto another set of wet tyres and then onto dries later on, you know.
Looks to me Go on. Sorry, I was going to say Stocky looks to be closing back in on Mr. Hamilton 44 now.
I was going to mention about the tyres. I mean, Suzuka is a tyre killer. It always has been. And even on the wet tyres, yes, you possibly could take them long. However, the amount of time you could gain by having a brand new set of tyres on could be 3-4 seconds a lap. Or it looks like we've got a bit of a battle between Breaking Clays again.
Breaking
Right,
Clays and
so-
Jamie James, I would believe that to be. James?
Yeah. Looks to me like Johnny James is going to have him, because it looks like Breaking Clays is turning the opposite direction of every single corner here, trying to correct the rear end. It looks like he has no clue what the rear end of that Renault is going to do. And Johnny James is off though, and the gravel in turn 1, and that's going to promote Overdyking up to P10.
It looks like Jamie James is not going to fight that one as he's just returned to the circuit. Oh no, he stays ahead.
No, yeah, it looks like Overdyking's backed out of it, and Johnny James is back through, but I think
Was
they
that
may
a
be
fight?
tripping
Was
over.
that a fight between the Ferraris? Was it?
Yeah, and Overdyking's just tried it back around the outside. I think that may be team orders though.
Well, I tell you what, seeing as they've just had a bit of a battle, should we go through their pre-race comments?
Please do.
Overdyking, he was asked how much you dreading the start of the race, and he said, first of all, I'll be using a special Nicky Hayden helmet and racing number 69 as a tribute to the 2006 MotoGP world champion who died in a road accident earlier this week. As for the race, it wouldn't be the first time I was involved in the first corner collision at Japan, so it all depends on qualifying. The further back, the more dreadful it is. Hoping for a good qualifying session for once. His teammate, though, Jamie James, he was asked, what should we expect from you here at Suzuka? And he said, you can expect me to turn up to the circuit. That's about it, really. Oh, and Dom has agreed, well, actually, he hasn't really, but I'm going to get there first to let me have the #1 car after getting the tickets in Spain. The tickets for the next Spain Grand Prix that Jamie James won was by being the fastest driver on one of the simulators at the Spain Grand Prix. So well done to Jamie James on that, and we'll leave them to have their argument after the race on that one. So,
Well,
do you still think it's team to orders, JS?
Sorry, well, I'm not even thinking about that. What I'm thinking about is stock it all over the back of Miss Hamilton 44. He's all over his rear wing as we head down the start-finish straight. Is he going to be able to make a move here?
I don't know, he's in that slipstream, but turn 1, we've seen some cars trying to make the overtakes down there. It's not easy because it's so easy to run wide, shall we say. Probably not the favoured overtaking place. I'd say probably in towards the slower corners where you can make most amount of difference with your braking, like the hairpin, or maybe even the last chicane. In these conditions, though.
Yeah, it's just one of them situations though where you've got dirty air and you kind of feel like automatically you've got less grip anyway. So yeah, Stocky just needs to be patient here. But Miss Hamilton 44's run wide through Degner 1, and Stocky just needs to really attach the magnets and get this move done and dusted. Oh, and here we go. He's going for it. Oh, slightly up the inside. And Miss Hamilton 44 just give him enough space to survive. Stocky almost made that move there.
Yeah, and like I was saying, it's going to be one of the places that will be probably the more comfortable places to overtake in these conditions. DP, if you see anything happening further down the grid, let us know.
Well, I'm just going to give you a quick update. I've been looking through the order. At the moment, it's looking quite stable. However, we have got a little bit of a battle. GT5 King 14th, Schmet 15th, and Erna Urcham 16th. They're kind of feeling each other out at the moment. I'll keep you updated on that one.
Okie dokie.
Well, when it's cold and wet, there's no wrong with that.
And I was just thinking about the leader, Simo, as we carry on watching Hamilton and Stocky, because they are the drivers that are battling for the championship. Simo out in the lead and just quite comfortably 4 seconds ahead of Mr. Hamilton and just over 5 seconds ahead of Stocky. This rain is really driving rain now, and these conditions are getting absolutely terrible.
Erna Urcham may be in position to attack as they make their way down towards the R130.
Tempfia is defending from Mornay, who's trying it round the outside into turn 1 here, side by side with Mornay and Tempfia for P5. And Tempfia squeezing him out.
Don't worry about my battle, it didn't come to anything, unfortunately.
Yeah, and
this
what
is
a battle
absolutely
that is.
yeah, this is epic. Just not giving up, not giving an inch, and there comes Aircut round the outside of Tempfia now. But Tempfia's got the favoured racing line.
Leading Sunrise getting in on this battle as well, but Mornay, what's that? Is that him up to 4th place now? Fifth place for Mornay,
yeah, he's just gone round the outside of Tempfia into turn 1, but Tempfia's gone wide, and there comes Aircut up the inside. Oh, I think Aircut was being a bit polite there. Bleeding Sunrise looks like he's going to be jumping up the inside of any corner that presents itself, and there we go. into the hairpin. Bleeding Sunrise on the traction. Who's going to win out between the Renault? They've both got the same engine. The Renault Works team beats the Red Bull, which is rare to see in reality.
How far off the lead do you think Aircut could drop if he's on a dry setup, for instance? So he set the pole time. How far off could he drop?
He's currently 15 seconds away from the race lead, but well, it depends really, doesn't it? It seems to me like Simo 911 is leading the race, but he's got decent straight line speed to go with it, so it looks like he's just got the perfect setup. It doesn't look to me like, even if he had dry tyres on, that Simo would be going slow.
Well, I'm going to have a look at Simo and Southampton 44's lap times as Bartman, he's out of the race, unfortunately. I will also update you on what is happening there, but I also want to point out as well that Mornay, since he's got past 10th Fear, he's pulled away.
Aircut is going for a move round the outside of Bleeding Sunrise into turn 1, side by side. Who's going to win out here? It looks like the Red Bull may have the advantage this time around. Just got enough, I think, of the Red Bull, and Bleeding Sunrise takes P7.
But Breaking Clays is now on the back of this battle as well, and he's got his teammate ahead of him, obviously.
Yeah. So, 10th Fear currently in P6, Mornay in P5, coming to get you P4, and Stock is in P3, still with Southampton 44.
Oh,
just
Renault's,
up the road.
So close to making contact with each other then.
They're still side by side running through Degner 1. Aircut is just getting attacked from behind, but wants to attack in front, but the rear end looks so loose.
But what's also happening is these guys battle it out. The two Ferrari guys, they're catching up as the Renaults look like they're switching position. Yes, they are. That's Breaking Clays, makes the move on Aircut, but here comes the Ferraris now. No, Aircut's not giving up on this. He's back ahead.
That's the straight line speed winning out for Aircut, but the traction is just absolutely brilliant for Breaking Clays, so they need to stop squabbling and work out who's the quickest driver as quick as possible.
Well, in these conditions, Breaking Clays has gone from near the rear of the grid up to 9th position, and Aircut's gone from pole down to 8th, so I think it's pretty clear at the moment which of the two cars is the quicker
but now
in these current conditions.
Straight line, Aircut is coming back towards Bleeding Sunrise. He needs to make a move and get on with it, otherwise Breaking Clays is going to have him.
Well, Breaking Clays looks like he's going up the inside, nearly going 3 wide into the chicane there, sorting themselves out towards the exit. Getting very, very tight. I thought
into the pit.
I thought I saw him heading towards the pit lane. That's got to be.
Aircut's going for the move now. On the inside of Bleeding Sunrise up towards turn 1. He's already in front and he's made the move. But how's it going to be through turn 1? I think Bleeding Sunrise may have decent grip, but no, Aircut's got it made.
Can I just interrupt you for a second? GT5 King has dropped from 12th down to 14th as he made a little mistake at the R130. He's going to try and attack back though as they get onto the start-finish straight, is he? Yes, he might. We've got a 3-way battle. Erna Urcham in the middle of it.
Right. So
Erna Urcham's got to run. He's going to have a look up the inside into turn 1, but no, can't quite get it done. These guys are too closely matched on straight line speed, but the Renault of Aircut has come out, I think it is, just ahead. No, it's Breaking Clay, sorry. Just ahead of this battle.
Well, it'll be interesting to see.
That's crucial.
Interesting to see now, it'll be on a new set of wets, how quicker they are than this group of guys here. Whether he can get those new tyres to work for him. Will that be an undercut, or will the other guys be able to just drive those wets much further into the race?
Information for you. 10th Fear's catching back up to Mornay again. Simo still got himself a nice little lead. I was also looking at lap times. Simo still capable of doing 141s at the moment, although he's had a couple of slower laps. The most consistent is coming to get you actually in 4th place. Looks like he's just pacing himself at the moment as the guys ahead of him really sort of pushing their cars to the max.
We've got looks like an attempted overtake 10th Fear on Mornay. Looked like he was going to go for it into the chicane. But is he in a position now to do it into turn 1? I don't think he will be.
Aircut through the final chicane, has got all out of shape. Bleeding Sunrise got a good move. No, Aircut's into the pit lane now. So where is he going to come out in relation to his teammate, Breaking Clays?
Well, that's a good question, because I mentioned about having fresh tyres on. Breaking Clays came out right ahead of the battle of the 3 drivers I was watching, but he's already opened up about a 3-second gap, so Breaking Clays may get the jump here.
So Breaking Place just running through the final chicane, but he's got a lot of understeer. So let's just see, where is Aircut now? Is he on the move? Is he already at pit exit? Aircut's got a massive lead over his teammate there.
That is surprising. That is surprising. The amount. I'm wondering, you know, whether
Breaking Clay's had a long stop.
A long stop, maybe a bit of damage. It kind of looks like that's the sort of gap that would only be because of damage. It's not had a slow out lap, that's for sure.
Mornay and Temp Fear side by side into the hairpin. Mornay makes the overtake into the hairpin. Lovely move, but Temp Fear's fighting back.
Right. So Temp Fear, what can he do now? On my screen, unfortunately, it shows him as been hitting the rev limiter, but I think that's just a lovely little glitch going on. But Mornay, he looks like he's got superior grip in that Williams, but running a touch wide through the spoon. Can Temp Fear get in that slipstream now? No, he's running on the grass, that's not good. Don't want any grass going in the radiators, and he's just heading towards 130R, but Mornay, his straight line speed is just pulling away now.
DP, do we have pre-race comments from Mornay? See what he was saying. Oh, Mr. Hamilton's gone fastest now with the 151.
Yeah, Mornay, he was asked if he feels he could get, if he's got the pace to get on the podium, and he said, I know lots will go for a one-stopper, so I'm not sure if I have enough consistency on this track to get to the podium, but I will do my best and drive as fast as I possibly can to qualify in the top 3 and hopefully pull out a gap to the people behind who will be doing a one-stop. However, in these conditions, it could be one stops, could be 2 stops.
Yeah, how is the pace of those Renaults, DP? You have a look at that while me and James have a chat. Yeah. So, James, looking up at the front, how's the front 3 doing?
Sorry, Breaking Clays is about to make a move on F1 Roadrunner down the start-finish straight. Yeah, he's side by side down towards turn 1. Breaking Clays has got the inside line, but F1 Roadrunner is going to make him work for it. But if he can get it slowed down enough, they both just about managed to do it, yeah. But A-Cut, it looks like Breaking Clays is actually catching up to A-Cut.
Yeah, it looks like to me as though Breaking Clays probably had a little bit of damage in that pit stop, which has pushed him further behind, but now the grip is just coming back towards him, and yeah, he'll be wanting to climb all over his teammate as soon as possible.
Overdykink is also trying to attack Bleeding Sunrise as Bleeding Sunrise gets all out of shape at the hairpin. Overdykink trying to apply some pressure there.
Yeah, the weather has just eased up a little bit. It's not the driving rain that we were seeing earlier on. So it'd be interesting to see whether anyone thinks about intermediate tyres, or at what point do they consider intermediate tyres. I think they need to shift a bit more water though before they actually do take that decision.
Overdykink's got a lovely run now on Bleeding Sunrise, just needs to get in that slipstream, and maybe he'll have a little bit of a sniff at him towards the final chicane. Heading towards 130R now, just turning early, but no, Bleeding Sunrise has braked early to try put Overdykink off, and I think he's done his job there. A nice lovely arrow there to determine where the drivers go, if they've not done any practice, but looks to me like these have done plenty of practice this week.
Yeah, they head down towards turn 1 now. Oh, got cars in the pit lane, DP. I believe that will make maybe Temp Fear and Mornay.
It is, it's Temp Fear and Mornay is on the intermediate tyres. Temp Fear is also on the intermediate tyres.
Well, that's going to be an interesting... Yeah.
They've come out way ahead of the Renaults, who are on the wet tyres. They're going to have another stop to do.
Yeah, but is it right time for Inters? I said it might be soon, but I didn't think it was going to be time right now. And I hope they're not listening to the live stream and pitting because of my comments. That would be a stupid thing to do. If anyone knows me, you'd know to ignore me.
Bleeding Sunrise, absolute opposite lock as he runs through Degner 1, and Overdykink just needs to settle down, and Degner 2, there you see Bleeding Sunrise just absolutely no control over the rear end. Overdykink looks really, really calm, cool and collected, just needs to really put him out of shape and just do him on the exit, because that Red Bull looks like a handful.
Just to let you know as well, I wouldn't say mood change camera, but Mornay and Temp Fear, they're nose to tail again on these intermediate tyres. I'm just keeping an eye on whether they're catching the leader or not.
Okie dokie. And Bleeding Sunrise then coming around Spoon Corner, curve, corner, curve. It's a curve corner.
Race leader in the pit. Mr. Hamilton 44 takes the lead.
Well, where was Simo? Because Simo was the race leader.
Yeah, that's Simo. Yeah, he's in the pit lane. He's just putting intermediate tyres on.
Okay.
So Simo is just setting off now down pit lane. Stocky's also, I believe, in the pit lane.
Okay, did those Renaults...
Stocky is also on intermediate tyres.
So Mr. Hamilton 44 needs to make sure it is the fastest
Bleeding
lap
Sunrise and
of his
overtaking
life.
into the pit. Sorry, James.
Yeah. Right. So, yeah, Mr. Hamilton 44 needs to make
Jammy
sure...
Jammy James, he's spun it. Final corner. He's lost his front wing. It's going to be a whole lap with no front wing. Devastation for him. I don't know if that was a case of wanted to pit, realised he couldn't double stack, or whether he just lost the car. But that's desperately unlucky for him.
That's over. That's game over.
That's a long way round, that is. And, yeah, I want to know, DP, what are your thoughts then on the two Renaults that pitted for the wet tyres? What are they going to be thinking at the minute?
They may be a little bit frustrated. If they'd have been able to wait another 2 laps, they may have been able to go on to the intermediates, but if their tyre wear was such that they couldn't do it, they had no choice. You've got to be on the right tyre at the right time, or the tyre that gives you enough life. So for the Renaults, it may be another stop for them, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Can you do me a favour? Can you just check what middle sector time Miss Hamilton 44 has just done, and then we'll see what Stocky's middle sector time is as well, so we can see if he's gaining at all on them intermediates.
Well, Mr. Hamilton 44 has crossed the line, which he has done now, I think. 50.3 sector 2 time for Mr. Hamilton 44.
Okay,
so Mr. Hamilton 44 going to be heading for pit lane, or is he going to be staying out? We'll see in a few seconds' time.
He's gone into the pit lane.
So we'll just see what middle sector Stocky's about to do now.
I think Stocky's going to have the jump on him.
Coming to get you is into the pits, as is Mr. Hamilton 44.
Stocky's close at pit exit, I think.
Yeah, Stocky's across the start finish line.
On his way out of the pits.
And
he's got him! Stocky's got him!
There goes Mercedes. So them intermediates have really played into Stocky's hands, and that's just gained him a position. And yeah, Stocky's now got a back marker in the way, but that'll mannerably get it. Oh no, it's just a ghosted vehicle. That's DP's car. So Stocky now he's got free air. He was able to keep within 2 seconds of Mr. Hamilton 44, so he's got exactly the same pace. So that'll frustrate Mr. Hamilton 44. Now he's in front.
Interestingly though, Stocky did lose time on Simo through the pit stops. Lost about a second.
Okay. Well, I'm just wondering whether Stocky now is thinking, don't worry about Simo. He's not battling me for the championship. All I need to do is beat Mr. Hamilton. And we've seen that in the past when Simo's taken a race win. That the drivers that are battling for the championship are focusing so much on each other and not necessarily the race win.
Yeah, exactly. It can all come down to pressure.
Acut under pressure from Overdyking. Acut on the wet tyres. Overdyking on the intermediates. The intermediates so much quicker at the moment.
Yeah, Acut, his rear end was about as loose as the back end of a donkey there.
How do you know how loose the back end of a donkey is, James?
Well, you don't want to give it. You don't want to give it any.
Know the answer.
You don't want to give a donkey some laxatives. That's all I can say.
Fair enough.
Have you done that as well, James?
I don't want to know. I do not want to know. What you do on your holidays, James, you keep to yourself. Okay. Just want to update people on that battle I mentioned earlier on between GT5 King, Surtak and Erna Urchum. GT5 King is still ahead. They've all made their pit stops. Let's see. Actually, so GT5 King, Schmidt and Surtak, sorry. Yeah, GT5 King still ahead of Schmidt by about a second and a half. Surtak a few seconds behind.
So, Temp Fear, can he hold on to P5 as Mornay is up his gearbox as Temp Fear's run a bit wide there through turn 1.
You know how Drew likes to, Drew, one of our avid viewers and racers in the World Championship Reserve, sorry, both of the Haas cars going side by side. Surtak had a Tepe and Erna Urchum, no, they're backed out of it, don't worry about it. Yeah, Drew was listening in there and he said, I've actually ridden a donkey. So obviously he's involved in that conversation. Okay, I'm curious, is Stocky catching Simo?
Hang on,
but
whoa,
Hamilton
whoa.
44
Sorry,
is catching Stocky.
we've just had an overtake. 10th here flying past Mornay as if Mornay was standing still. I don't know what Mornay was doing there unless he had to do an ETL lift, and 10th here just flew by him as if Mornay was off the throttle big time.
So yeah, it looks to me like Stocky on the second set of intermediate tyres, which are the intermediates, are not working out for him because he's now fallen back 7 seconds behind the race leader, and Hamilton 44 may go for an overtake here.
Whoa, that is close. Hamilton's right up his chuff, isn't he? Up his gearbox.
Yeah, he's definitely got a lot of confidence on those intermediates. Stocky's locked up into the final chicane, gone a bit deep, and Miss Hamilton 44, can he try it all the way around the outside? No, he's not giving space for Stocky's rear end to turn around, and yeah, Stocky's all out of shape now. Miss Hamilton 44, is he going to go for an ultimate overtake? Is this going to be epic? Is it going to be an epic fail? Side by side toward turn one. Miss Hamilton 44 trying it all the way around the outside. Stocky's lost it and he's failed. But there goes Hamilton 44. What a lovely move for P2.
So that puts Hamilton into the prime position and in the Drivers' Championship. But is there anything that Stocky can do? I mean, as the conditions...
10 fears round wide, sorry, 10 fears round wide. That's just let Mornay through at turn one. Now they're side by side into turn three.
Mornay just got a little bit too happy on the throttle pedal. Fears banging wheels with Mornay there, and this is all just kicking off now. Both Mercedes-Benz just got done on lap 16 down at turn one.
Well, I'm pretty sure Toto Wolff will be smashing the desk again in front of his TV screen. This time though in frustration, not in joy. DP, could you read through the order of the cars, the drivers? We're past the halfway point. We've only got 11 laps to go.
Okay, leading the race, we've got Simo on the intermediate tyres. He's followed by Mr. Hamilton 44 in second, Stocky third, coming to get you. Still sitting there comfortably in fourth. Mornay now into fifth with 10th Fear, sixth. Overdyking seventh, Bleeding Sunrise eighth, and Akut in ninth. Breaking Clays in 10th, and Breaking Clays has actually changed back to the intermediate tyre now, or changed onto the intermediate tyres. His teammates sticking with the wets. F1 Roadrunner is in 11th, and Jamie James in 12th is not too far behind him, while GT5 King is in 13th, Schmet 14th, Erna Roach in 15th, Sertak Karatepe in 16th, and unfortunately Bartman, he was out of the race earlier from a DNF crash.
Well, that's not nice, as yeah, the drivers are now getting used to these greasy conditions. It's still raining out there, but it is definitely dissipating a lot less than it was. So it's all about when will the dry tyres come into effect, as we're on lap 16 of 27. There's only 11 laps to go. Will we even see the dry tyres on circuit?
Well, DP was going to say something earlier on about when this circuit goes from a wet condition to a drying condition, it tends to do what?
Well, I was saying that it was more a case of if it stayed wet, a worn set of wet tyres compared to a brand new set of wet tyres, the time difference is massive, potentially. Even going from worn wets to inters, brand new inters is massive. Going from inters to dries at exactly the right time, you could get a massive undercut. I'm talking 5-6 seconds potentially, but you've got to time it right. You time it wrong, you're not going to gain anything other than an early bath.
Okay, thank you very much. James, who's your money on then? Out of Simo and Mr. Hamilton, is Mr. Hamilton going to pull away, or is Simo going to be able to attack when this track starts to dry up?
Well, I think Mr. Hamilton, he couldn't do it on the first set of wet tyres. However, since he's put on these intermediates, he's managed to blitz his way past Stocky, and Stocky's still there or thereabouts if Mr. Hamilton 44 makes a mistake, but I think it may just be a touch too far from Mr. Hamilton 44. He's taken about 4/10 out of Simo on this lap, and I don't think that's enough. He's only got 10 laps remaining to close this in. I think Mr. Hamilton 44 is only going to win if Simo makes an absolutely massive cock-up.
Mr. Hamilton's just set the fastest lap of the race, so 1:46, so this track is getting drier, and he has been freed up by Stocky now as well. What sort of lap times do we expect to get down to before they go on to the dry tyres? Well, I'm pretty sure, from my recollection, from the reserve
Sorry, F1
races.
Roadrunner and Jamie James ever so close, coming around the R200, or the 200R, up towards Spoon Curve. Jamie James has been closing the gap cautiously over the last couple of laps, but now he's in position to attack. He's perhaps given a bit of a Japanese hand slice to the neck. Just don't do that to Mr. Hammer Time, because it'll hurt his sunburn.
So F1 Roadrunner seems to have decent straight line speed. Jamie James needs to get as much slipstream as possible as they head towards the final chicane. But yeah, it looks like F1 Roadrunner's got a decent straight line setup there.
What I was trying to say about the dry tyres, they need to find about 3 seconds more in the pace before they go over onto the dry tyres.
Ooh, F1 Roadrunner lost it in the final corner there, and now it's just put Jamie James side by side. But once again, F1 Roadrunner straight line speed is just edging him a little bit more in front. Jamie James trying it all the way around the outside, but he's going all 4 wheels off the circuit, and that puts F1 Roadrunner back into the favourable position of 11th place.
Well, interestingly, I've got some information for you about Jamie James. On my screen, at least, he's got 3 wet tyres and 1 intermediate on his car.
Well, the lovely joys of Codemasters Entertainment. On my screen, he's got all green tyres, so they're all intermediates on mine. But F1 Roadrunner looks to be a little bit out of shape in the corners, and there we go, the rear end snapping, and Jamie James is having to take evasive manoeuvres there.
Yeah, Mr. Hamilton again improving his lap time.
So in the hairpin, this is where F1 Roadrunner may be out of shape, but he's braked early. But he's gone very wide on exit. Jamie James just needs to get on the traction and try it all the way around the outside, DP.
Yeah, he may have more grip around the outside of the circuit there in the damper conditions, but no, unfortunately he hasn't. F1 Roadrunner once again showing he's got decent straight line speed, and that's going to frustrate Jamie James, that is.
Yeah, he needs to make this move because he's just hemorrhaging time now. He's so much quicker. F1 Roadrunner just keeps putting that rear end of that Toro Rosso exactly where Jamie James doesn't want it. Can he go to the outside? Can Jamie James do the overtake at 130R? We're about to find out.
Switch back on 130. Oh, no, a little bit of contact.
Turned in on a car that was there. I think he was anticipating F1 Roadrunner to go a bit deep there, but he just turned in on him there, and that was... He just ended up...
I'd say it was unfortunate. I mean, I was just about to say, trying to do an undercut of the 130R, and you can try it, because, yeah, if he's on the inside line and he runs wide, you've got a good run, but unfortunately, just a little bit too close. Okay, update on Simo and Mr. Hamilton 44. Mr. Hamilton 44, 5.5 seconds behind, so I think he's closing that gap a little bit.
Yeah. 5.1 seconds now. But yeah, Stocky's still holding around 7 seconds from race leader, so Stocky's dropping back a bit now. 2 seconds to Mr. Hamilton 44, and Coming to Get You is 15 seconds away, so Coming to Get You is having a lonely old race there in that Force India in 4th place.
Oh, Jamie James just lost control around the Dunlop curve. He's managed to keep going just. That was ever so close to race over.
Well, he absolutely clobbering his way all the way over the first deck. Now he's lost it, the wheel's gone, and he's out of the race.
Oh, no, I'm going to have to apologise now to the viewers, because that will have ruined your sound, and we're going to get this really dull, muffled effect, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know, for me that looked a little bit suspicious, that. It didn't look like it was an error, it looked like frustration.
That's unfortunate if it was. Yeah, let's move on from that, shall we? And let's look back up at the front. We've got Simo 911 running away in the lead. I say running away. Mr. Hamilton is just slowly bringing him in, isn't he? Where's Stocky? Stocky's dropped off.
Sorry, I've had a quick look at the replay. Jamie James has crashed there. It looks like he just got on the exit curve of the second Egner. As soon as he went to put the power down, yeah, rear end's gone, sent him to the right hand side of the track. And in these conditions, so easy to do that here. But unfortunately, that's robbed us of a really good sort of battle there. Mornay and Temp Fear. Mornay opening up that gap a little bit now on Temp Fear. But this is a situation where I'm sure we've seen it here before, guys, in Suzuka, where if it stops raining enough for dry tyres for the last 3 or 4 laps, going to those dry tyres can be such a bonus. Yeah, is anybody going to risk it?
Well, how much time are we giving up in the pit lane? It's usually about 20 seconds.
It is about that, yeah. It's a
So,
bit under, maybe.
Yeah, if you're gaining with somebody on some worn-out intermediates, yeah, you'd have to be gaining at least 6 seconds.
Oh, Simo's ran wide at turn 1. I don't know whether it was going around the Haas, the back marker, but he has ran a little wide, and he's lost a massive amount of time to Mr. Hamilton 44.
Mr. Hamilton 44, it's saying 4.4 seconds, but I think that was
It's
as they
not.
were running over. It's looking more about 2.2 now.
It is. I mean, I wasn't on board with Simo when it happened, but it looked like he was already ahead of the Haas, and I think maybe he just ran a little bit deep at the corner, giving him a nice wide berth. But yeah, I think it's going to be about 2 seconds now, the gap. Yeah, it is 2.2.
Hey, I tell you, I'm on it tonight. Well, this is...
What are the corners called, James? Are they the Devners or the Lesmos?
Well, they're very similar, you know, just completely different locations. But I
can't
said earlier,
say anything because I always get them mixed up.
I could have sworn they were called the Desmonds.
Desmond's. Well, yeah, this is definitely game on now from Hamilton 44. I said earlier it was going to be a bit of a uphill struggle for Hamilton 44, and he needed Simo to make a cock up, and there we go, he's made the cock up. Miss Hamilton 44, you've got 6 laps and a little bit to go. Can you make this a win and pull even more points on Stocky, as he didn't get any points last time out?
A-Cut is into the pits, and I think it's now a set of intermediate tyres for him. Yes, it is. He took those wets as long as he could.
Yeah, A-Cut has completely shone in qualifying, but faded like a sinking stone in the race, unfortunately.
He's going to come out in 13th place, a few seconds behind Schmidt. I just want to quickly re-mention question of the day, as Miss Hamilton 44 is now only 1.5 seconds behind Simo. This is, as we mentioned earlier on, it's Front Row Racing JS's last commentary in the World Championship, which obviously is a shame for us all. So question of the day is dedicated to James, and the question is, what was the location of Front Row Racing JS's first World Championship commentary? But there's also a second and third part, which is just for all my co-commentators here. The second part is, what was his first commentary nickname? And the third part was, what did Steve say to him when what did Steve, you say to James when you welcomed him to the commentary booth?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a bit of a long-winded one, isn't it? I can't remember the first one now.
Actually, you know what? I can't remember if I actually gave the proper question. But yeah, what was the location of Front Row Racing JS's
I'm going to change my
first
answer.
Commentary?
I'm going to change my answer. I'm going to say his bedroom.
Oh, that's a clever answer, but not the answer I'm looking for.
Well, that is right in a certain point of view. Yeah, Simo 911 now is really losing out. It's 1.3 seconds. He's coming up behind a back marker. He's getting blue flags, but he's off the racing line. Simo's now in front before 1:30, and here comes Hamilton 44. Can he make his way past this back marker and lose no time at all? Yes, he can. This gap is down to 1 second now. Can he get DRS if it's available?
My first words to James probably were something along the lines of, I can't bloody speak, say something, James.
Well, I'm going to say Bahrain.
Oh, Simo's gone wide again.
Oh, yeah, he's really struggling now. Them intermediates are going off for him, but they're only 1 lap older than Miss Hamilton 44's.
How many laps have they done on the Inters? Because I want to know whether these are going to be near the tyre life window.
Well, Simo put the Inters on at the end of lap 12, and so 10 laps they've done on these tyres. So yeah, they might be struggling a little bit, but also Simo's gone from being comfortable to now, hold on a minute, I've got a job to do.
It stopped raining.
Yeah, so this is when we see the first signs of a dry line, as Simo's all out of shape on the exit, and here comes Hamilton 44 on the racing line up against the grass. He's going to go for a move up the inside. This is the move for the lead of the race. Is Hamilton 44 going to hold on to this, keeping it very tight, giving each other just enough room, and on the exit Simo 911 looks to be coming back.
I'm surprised that Miss Hamilton's taking the risk here when it's his championship that's at risk, the Drivers' Championship. Simo's obviously struggling. All he's got to do is wait, and he'll have an opportunity to pass him quite easily.
But the last thing he wants is to be able to get on them slick tyres at the end and then breeze past him if Simo's got a decent straight line setup.
He's got to run. He's going for it now.
Up the inside towards the 130i. Is he going to hold on to this now? Yes, he is. What a lovely move there for the Suzuka Grand Prix. And I think that may be the move of the day.
What's Simo doing? What's Simo doing? Is he going to pit? No, he doesn't. He carries on. I was wondering whether he was going to decide to pit at that point.
It's looking increasingly dry now. I think these runners are going to have to go for slicks. If I was Stocky, I'd be tempted to pit.
Unfortunately, he can't. But yeah, I mean, anyone that's heading up towards the pit lane now, the temptation has got to be there. But as we know, if you get it wrong, yeah, you are losing so much time. And Tempfia is into the pits. He's going to be a bit of a
guinea pig.
Yeah, but also Mornay, he's into the pits. It's a set of soft tyres for Mornay. Tempfia, it's a set of soft tyres for him as well. Right,
so game on. Here we go. We're going to work out if we see their middle sector time be anywhere comparable to the Inters. It's time to switch, I think.
Bleeding Sunrise into the pits as well. So Mr. Hamilton 44's teammate into the pits. I do want to quickly mention Mr. Hamilton 44's pre-race comments. Steve asked him, is there something important you must remember to do at the end of the race this week? Mr. Hamilton 44 said he's looking forward to the race and to get back his title lead. He said, people think I forgot to save my video at the last race, but in fact I just did it to keep the title fight close and exciting. He doesn't plan on doing it again tonight though. Can't say I believe him on that one, but there we go.
That seems a bit shifty. We all right to get Miss Hamilton 44's middle sector time there? I
can find that out for you. Miss Hamilton 44 was a 47.8.
47.8. So Tempfia's just running through Degner 2, and we'll work out. Yeah, he's looking not too shabby really with them soft tyres on. We'll be able to work out what his middle sector time is as well when he gets there.
I just think though, if you're going to pit at the end of lap 24, it's 3 laps to go. You're not going to make your time back up unless you would have got a puncture.
Well, are any of the race leaders going to pit?
No.
It's touch and go, isn't it? Unless they really have to.
Sorry, coming to get you in 4th place has pitted, but he's got Overdyking behind him, who's on intermediates, and he's heading up towards the pit lane now. And coming to get you knows that the 2 cars behind him have gone to the dry tyre, so it'll be interesting to see that gap. Have you got that sector 2 time, James?
I think the screen's gone a bit weird and I can't seem to get it on.
Okay, Overdyking has pitted, coming to get you, coming out of the pits. Mornay and Tempfia heading towards the start-finish lane now. Mornay's back in the pits, I think. Yeah. Has he had a drive-through pen? No, it's not Mornay. Sorry, it's not Mornay. Don't panic.
Yeah, I'm thinking he may have gone into the pit lane a bit too quick. So that's put Tempfia back into 6th place, I believe.
Okay, information for you as well. GT5 King has also pitted. He's now in 14th place on the dry tyres, but he looks like he's been struggling a little bit. Erna Urchum and Schmidt, they're having a battle at the hairpin. They're still on the intermediate tyres, and GT5 is catching up to them on the soft compound tyre.
Coming to get you is now 35 seconds off the lead. I'll let you know if that gap's going to come down.
Well, it'll come down a lot if the leaders decide to pit, that's for sure. GT5 King looks like he's on it at the moment, catching up the cars ahead of him. And Schmidt.
I think if I was Stocky, if any of them pit now, I'd be tempted to stay out. I think the idea of doing an undercut is over. So,
they're not pitting.
What is Stocky doing?
Stocky's best option would be to pit. The cars behind him have, and Stocky does pit. Stocky now needs to hope that the car ahead's tyres go off. That was the right decision for him to make because he was freed up behind. The best he was going to get was 3rd, so good call there.
Our GT5 King is just driven past Erna Urchum as if Erna Urchum was using a GP2 engine, and the Inters have gone off. It is almost impossible to be on the Inters at this moment in time, and I'm just wondering whether Mr. Hamilton might end up driving himself into a problem if he just runs those tyres past their working window.
Well, he's halfway through lap 26 to lap 27, so he's only got a lap and a half to do. The interesting thing is going to be how far behind Stocky is, and I'll shout that out for you when Stocky gets to the end of sector 1.
yeah, coming to get you, is currently doing 2 seconds per lap quicker each sector than the leader, so that's 6 seconds per lap he's going quicker.
Wow.
Okay, Stocky is currently 24.8 seconds behind. Question is that going to come down? I'll keep an eye on that for you. James, if you want to have a look around, see if we've got any other fights going elsewhere.
Yeah, I'll see. So, looks like everybody moving on to the slick running tyre with nothing to lose other than the leaders.
Yeah, Mr. Hamilton looks like he's driving around on marshmallows at the moment, and he'll be looking to see how far behind Stocky is and whether he can. I mean, surely if I was him, I would pit. Okay, he might not win the race because it might give it to Simo, but he's got to cover off Stocky.
Simo 911 has just lost out to his back-marking teammate in P10, who's just blitzed past him on some slick running tyres, but Simo is carrying on.
Stocky's just taken 4 seconds in the middle sector.
Yeah,
right,
and
so
Mr. Hamilton has continued.
So 20 seconds, so it's another 2 laps to go. Stocky could be on here.
There isn't 2 laps to go. We're on the final lap of the race.
Apologies for that. It's, unlike Project Cars, where it tells you the current race leaders.
Another 2 seconds in the final sector alone, and that's only the R130 curve and the chicane.
So, is Simo, I think Simo may be sitting duck here.
Yeah, I mean, I can see Stocky catching Simo up, but Mr. Hamilton might just be a bit too far up the road. We'll soon find out.
Yeah, I think race leaders are going to hold on here by the skin of their teeth.
Well,
11 seconds! It's just come down 6 seconds in Sector 1!
Just to give you some idea of what's happening, GT5 King has just driven past Simo to unlap himself.
Yeah, Stocky could win this here. Could he? He's going through the hairpin in the background. He's only a few seconds behind Simo now, and yeah, if he can get past, I'm surprised he hasn't got punctures here running around on these tyres. Oh, he has! Yeah, I think Simo's got a rear left puncture.
It's not showing it on my screen, but Stocky's right behind him. He's so close to him. He's not quite right behind him, but he will be any moment.
So I think has that puncture kicked in yet?
Don't know. Mr. Hamilton 44 heading up to the final chicane now. He's letting GT5 King ahead of him go, I think. So Mr. Hamilton 44 looks like he's going to be able to take the win of the race.
Stocky's up the inside into the chicane. He just beats Simo to the line.
Mr. Hamilton, though, takes the victory. It is his, provisionally. Stocky then comes across the line in 2nd place with Simo in 3rd place. This is all provisionally. We don't know if there's been any race penalties yet, or whether there'll be any after race penalties once the front row racing race directors have had their to-dos with the drivers. Looking at further down the order, Mornay in 5th place. I must have missed 4th. That would have been coming to get you. Every time I try and skip to the next car, I can't. So Overdijking in 6th place, it says there as he crosses the line. Erna Urcham is in 15th with a puncher, unfortunately for him.
All I'm thinking there in the back of my mind was, when it went to slick running, if Stocky had gone that lap before, he could have won that race.
Yeah, if it had gone the lap before, I think you're right. I think he would have won it. Because looking at how much coming to get you caught up to Stocky, I mean, to put it into perspective, right? Coming to get you was about 15 seconds behind Simo when he pitted. Coming to get you then was about 35 to 37 seconds behind. He finished the race about a second behind Simo. He reined in 30-odd seconds in, 4 or 5 laps there. Phenomenal stuff. And I think Stocky may be kicking himself a little bit that you're right, that he didn't take that gamble. But at least he got the 2nd place. He can keep that points fight tight.
Brakenclay's lost out in the final corner to F1 Roadrunner, I believe. I think he just pipped him to the line out of the final chicane.
Yep, I believe I saw that as well. So James, if you'd like to read through the final order on the grid. Stocky did get P2. Yep, sorry, carry on.
Mr. Hamilton 44, had a time penalty, and Stocky takes 2nd by only 1/10 of a second.
Cool, that is close. That is so close. So Hamilton 44 P1, Stocky P2, Simo 911 P3, coming to get you P4, Mornay P5, Overdijking P6, 10th here P7, Leading Sunrise P8, F1 Roadrunner P9, and GT5 King rounds out the points in P10. Brakenclay's P11, Aircut in P12, Schmidt P13, P14 with Certec Protepe, Erna Urchin was P15, and unfortunately I haven't seen the final few positions there.
I've got to say, what a race that was. What a race. I don't know about you guys. My heart was pounding on that last lap. I mean, I can imagine Stocky's just screamed his house down on that one.
I think Stocky is just... I think he's just screamed his head off.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether he knew that Mr. Hamilton had a penalty and whether he knew he had to try and get within a certain time of him, and wondering whether he was going to get that win.
Possibly. I'll invite the podium sitters in a few moments' time. Just before we do that, if it's all right with you guys, I'll go through the rest of the drivers' pre-race comments that I hadn't mentioned, and also just mention to the YouTube viewers, if you've got any questions that you'd like us to ask the podium sitters on your behalf, feel free to post them in the YouTube chat now at FRR, and also question of the day. I'll repost question of the day now. Anyone wants to have a guess at answering that one, pop that in the YouTube comments as well. So I will invite the drivers in a few moments' time, so quickly go through some of these, if that's all right with you two. Okay, give James a chance to have a little bit of a breather before he gets all emotional. Bleeding Sunrise, he was asked, will you be able to put yourself in the way of the Mercedes? He said, I hope so. I'm pretty good at Suzuka. It's one of those tracks I think I might get a podium. Also doing a rain dance, so that's why it rained. It was all Bleeding Sunrise's fault. He said he loves Suzuka and he once passed everyone in the field twice in a league race before, and if I crash I might as well watch Ajax. Well, he didn't crash and he didn't lap the whole of the field either. Tough one for Bleeding Sunrise there. Mr. Hampton 44, I mentioned about him earlier. Hammer Time 95, I sort of touched on his comments. He actually didn't race, so I'm not going to mention them, unfortunately. All we need to know is he's got a sunburnt neck, so he couldn't race. GT5 King, he was asked, is this a circuit you like or hate? And he said, Suzuka is one of my favourite tracks. It really challenges the drivers, and I feel like I can challenge for some points. I know I keep saying that every race, and it never happens, so I may have just jinxed myself. What I will say is I did keep an eye on that battle between GT5 King, Erna Urchin and Schmidt for a lot of the race, and they were having a fantastic battle. So even though GT5 King may have finished out of the points, hopefully he had a fun race there. Let's see, who else have we got coming to get you? We barely saw him on the broadcast, but we asked him, do you feel you got the pace to get a podium? He said, of course, let's see what happens, and he was so close to it as well. If he actually hadn't have got a time penalty, it would have been a podium. Duo Finn unfortunately couldn't make it to us. Erna Urchin, he was asked as well if you feel you can get on the podium. I don't know how big Steve thinks this podium is. He said, I will start the race with the hardest compound if I can't place myself in the top 10. My aim is to finish the race and get points. Sertac was asked if there's a driver you're aiming to beat in this race, and he said, I don't choose a specific driver to beat or compete against. I just race and fight to anyone regardless of his name or team. I won't change for this race. And that, I believe, is all of the pre-race comments. No, it's not, sorry. F1 Roadrunner, he was asked, is this part is there part of the track you hate? And he replied with a lips are sealed emoji. And finally, Schmidt, the Admin's Pit Rookie driver, he was asked as the Admin's Pit Rookie how you were approaching this event. And he said, hi, of course, let me just start by praising you guys, your guys' commitment and the setup in general. It makes it that bit more fun to drive in your league and makes me want to put a bit more effort into it. Keep up the good work. He said, I'll be choosing the balance setup tonight, and my approach is to determine whether to go for a one-stop or two-stop in the event of no rain, of course. So right now he was doing a test races to determine his race pace, and he felt good for the wet conditions. So yeah, that's it. I will now invite in the podium sitters, and I hope you guys have got your questions ready. And actually, to my co-commentators, do you remember what the commentary name was that we gave from a Racing JS on his first commentary session in the World Championship?
I do.
Or would you like me to tell you?
I remember it.
Go on then.
James Hulkenberger.
No, it wasn't. James, would you like to have a guess?
Huntenberger.
There you go. Huntenberger. There you go. You got there in the end.
Right. Well, there we go. Thank God it changed to Shunt after a fair few whacks on the project cars.
Would you also like to know what it was that Steve said to you, James, on that first commentary session?
Let go of the microphone.
Nearly. Steve introduced you, he said hello to you, he gave you your nickname, and then he said, I can imagine you'll be stealing the microphone like James Hunt.
Yes, well,
What a
trip
prediction
to
it
Paul.
was. Although, to be fair, I think me and you have outdone Steve today for hogging microphone.
Oh, well, I felt a bit bad at a fair few points there, so throughout that race you may have heard me go, DP? Just because I didn't want to hog it too much.
I thought I'd give James the limelight. Well, I didn't get much chance to change that, but yeah. Anyway, have we got all three the podium sitters in with us?
Not quite yet. I believe we do have Simo and Stocky. Or
Mr. Hamilton.
No, we do now have them all, yes. We do have them all in, yes.
Okay. In that case, then, as this is James's last time in the commentary box, James, over to you for the podium questions.
Well, straight away, Miss Hamilton 44, I think you need to go and put some money on the lottery, because how you won that race by 1/10 of a second on intermediate tyres that were probably well past the best, I do not know. I think Stocky in P2 is probably going to be crying tonight at how close that was. With a 3-second penalty, mate, you really got your kahunas out tonight and put them on the line. How are you feeling?
I think that has to be one of the toughest races we've done this season. I was on the edge throughout the entire race, and the last lap was quite nerve-wracking, and I made a mistake into turn 1, and then I had a backmarker trying to overtake me on the last 2 corners and cost me a bit of time. So it's tight, but just managed to bring it home.
Yeah, so every 10th counts. So that is we know you had complications last time with race footage. Are we?
Don't
sure?
worry.
I'm not the one who needs to worry. You're the one that needs to make sure that it's there. Are you feeling more confident this week that you're going to have footage?
Yeah, I've already saved it. And I'm just uploading it now, so no problems this time.
I think, yeah.
So you're uploading it, Stocky's already there. I need to find 1/10 from him. Sorry.
Well, absolutely brilliant, and we'll come back to you unless DP's got any questions.
I have. It's not a question from me though. It's a question from YouTube. Actually, no, sorry. It's not a question for you. My mistake. Drew has said though, Mr. Hamilton, well done, fantastic win. There's quite a few comments on YouTube about how great that race was today, and it was great. So my question for you, Mr. Hamilton 44, was it a surprise seeing the new guy, A-Cut, all of a sudden Bosch pole position?
Yeah, definitely. At first I thought it was a glitch in the game, putting his name on the top, but apparently it wasn't.
No.
So yeah, quite surprised, but yeah, no, it's a good thing to have more guys up there competing for pole positions and race wins. So yeah, kudos to him.
Definitely. Okay, James, if you want to move on to second place, we'll come back to Mr. Hamilton 44. Well done.
Well, from the ultimate highs, we fall to Stocky. How are you feeling, man?
I'm alright.
Oh, do you want me to get you some Kleenex, because you're sounding a bit emotional there?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's annoying, but you know, it's alright.
I just said to DP on the final lap there, was there any temptation on pitting the previous lap before you did? Because I think if you had done, you'd have easily won that.
I was thinking about it, and as DRS got enabled, I'd just, you know, gone past the pit entry, and I said to Temper I should have pitted. Yeah. I got a puncher as I was going into the pit as well. Stressful.
Well, I believe that Simo also got a puncture on the final lap.
Yeah.
And that little bit of wheel banging into the final chicane, was that just desperation to make sure that you kept as close to Mr. Hamilton 44? Were you not even thinking about P1 at that point?
I knew I wouldn't catch him by the end, but I was determined to catch one of them at least.
Yeah, and when you saw there that Mr. Hamilton 44 had a 3-second penalty just flicking up in front of you saying 1/10 of a second, without swearing, what were your thoughts?
Very, 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 very annoyed.
Well,
Right,
I can add to that a little bit if I can just put in for a second, James, because we have got a question for Stocky from YouTube, and it's from one of the viewers, obviously, and they say, Stocky, did you celebrate or sort of weave or wave at the finish line that could have cost you that 1/10 of a second?
No, I just followed the normal racing line.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Sorry to put in there, James, but it was a question I wanted to ask. So yeah, carry on.
Yeah, no, all I can say is, Soccer, what were them feelings going on? Because you did manage to jump Miss Hamilton 44 when you jumped from wets to intermediates. So with that in mind, Miss Hamilton 44 was able to then get back past you. Was there anything you could have done other than what you did to keep him behind?
And the first few laps on the inters, I wasn't entirely comfortable on the brakes, but I tried as hard as I could. But I almost spun the car in turn 1 when he got past. So
yeah, I seem to
was happy
remember
I caught it.
your front right tyre just touched the grass, which then almost spun the rear end. But yeah, good save there, mate.
Cheers.
So, managing to snatch P2 there in the final chicane on the last lap of the race was Stocky. Have we got anybody else? Any questions for Stocky before we move to P3?
I've got a question for you, Stocky.
Yeah.
Were you aware that Mr. Hamilton had a penalty before the checkered flag?
Yeah. Jeff told me when he came out of the pit behind me about halfway through.
So towards the end then you were thinking, can I get within a certain time of him that might give me that win?
Not in the moment, no. I was more pushing like my life depended on it. But I did know he had a penalty, but I didn't know which dot was him. On the map there was about 4 dots, and I was really confused.
Okay, that's my question for Stocky. James, back to you.
Yeah, so I think we'll now move on to P3, who I think will be quite frustrated getting beaten on the final chicane and then having a puncture. Simo, 911, how are you feeling, man?
It was a great race. Just gonna say thanks to the viewers and broadcasters. You are doing very great job, and I hope viewers enjoyed the race today.
Well, we're just doing his job, and unfortunately it's my final day in the commentary box, and I think we may be testing out some new people to carry on next season, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, we do this because we love it, and yeah, all we can say is thank you very much for the race that you did today, because it were an absolute belter. Managed to lead the race for the majority of the laps there, but unfortunately them two pesky devils fighting for the title were just that slight bit quicker today, I think. So Simo, when the point where you're, I think we were on the intermediate tyres, and you were holding around a 7-second gap over Stocky and Mr. Hamilton 44, what was the point where you really started hemorrhaging time to Mr. Hamilton 44?
I think I made just one mistake in the first corner, and that was it. But I think my pace wasn't great with the intermediates. I would have to say that dry race would have been a blast with those two guys.
Well, all I can say is absolutely cracking racing today, and yeah, next time I think you'll be definitely on the cards, because on them wet weather tyres you were easily, if not a match, better than both Mr. Hamilton 44 and Stocky. So very good luck for next time out. Has anybody else got any questions for Simo 911?
I've got a couple of questions. Obviously, yes, Simo, you mentioned that it was a good race, and it really, really was a good race, and it's a shame it ended the way it did. However, the start of the race was phenomenal from everybody. How difficult was getting off the line, turn 1, turn two on that first lap, and did you have any idea of the level of battle going on behind you?
It wasn't that hard. I thought that the new guy in the front maybe some struggling in the first corner, so I took advantage to this. But then it was quite easy until the intermediates. I didn't have really pace, so.
We know why that is. These Finnish drivers, they used to
Actually
drive it
sounds
on.
like Kimi Räikkönen.
I was gonna say they used to they can drive on snow, they can drive in rain, but as soon as it gets sunny, they melt.
And I had so much fuel in my tank. I had to like use it as much as I could, so my tires went off. I hope that maybe 4 liters lower, it will be better.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, you three and everybody else on the grid put on a fantastic show today. I mean, I don't know about my co-commentators, but those last couple of laps of the race, I mean, I had hair sticking up all over my body, the nerves were going, the heart was going. It was fantastic. Actually, no, it was
Want to drive my car for them last 2 laps?
Well, I can imagine yours was probably the most fun to drive. I was going to actually ask, if it's all right, Mr. Hamilton 44 and Stocky. We've heard what it was like for Simo at the start of the race, but for you two, in that little bunch, in that little pack, how was that for you at the start of the race, Mr. Hamilton 44?
It was quite stressful, especially because the new guy in front blocked us a bit. I think he struggled with pace at that point. And I was caught behind him, and I could see Simo getting away. I think it was the same scenario for Stocky.
Stocky, yourself?
Yeah, just I think Aikot was struggling a lot, particularly the first sector of the first couple of laps. And it's always frustrating when you can see the guy in first just driving away. And when we're all pinned behind, yeah, it was definitely very stressful.
I've just thought of a question I'd like to ask Stocky. Just remembering something from qualifying that we saw, and that was Temp Fear was on either an in-lap or an out-lap, and you come up behind him in sector 3. Was that a deliberate tow that he was giving you there? Was it pre-arranged, or was it he was just in the way into the
Actually,
130R?
There was no communication on my flying lap. I just saw Temp there, and I think he planned it in his brain, but there was no premeditation, if you will.
Okay.
But it was a little bit tight at 130R, that scared me a bit.
Yeah.
Right. Is it time then to sort out question of the day?
I believe it is.
Okay. So then, podium drivers, as you may now know from a Racing JS, this is his last commentary, and hopefully everyone that's been watching has enjoyed listening to James's hot butter through knife comments. And it's been exciting and enjoyable to work with him. But the question of the day is, what was the location of Front Row Racing JS's first World Championship commentary? And you can have a bonus point for the season and the round number if you know it. So Mr. Hamilton 44, you may have no idea, but feel free to guess one of the tracks.
That's a difficult one. But I want to say thank you to him for the job he's done, first of all. A quick guess would be Australia.
It's a good guess. And Stocky, what about yourself?
Well, yeah. Cheers, James, for the lovely commentary that you provide.
No worries.
And
Thank you, guys.
Season 6 at Singapore.
Ooh. See, now that is what I would have guessed as well. So, Simo, would you like to join in on the guesses?
Maybe Bahrain.
Bahrain. Now we're going to get asked if you can go blah. Okay. Now, obviously, I did ask this question to both James and to Steve in the commentary box, and I can tell you both you got it horribly wrong. And you two were doing the commentary, and James, it was you. There have been quite a few guesses on YouTube. And there is one person that has definitely had it absolutely spot on, and have been quite a few guesses. So thank you very much for giving it a go, folks. But I can tell you that Front Row Racing JS's first commentary on the World Championship was in Season 6, Round 3 at China, which, James, you were right. It was the race after Malaysia, but you just said the wrong location as the race.
The one that Dom won?
Yes, I think it might have been, yeah.
What a lovely start to your commentary career.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then I think it was the race after that. Stocky, you won, didn't you, at Bahrain?
Yeah,
It
but
was,
we're not gonna play the audio from that because you've already embarrassed me enough.
But anyway, I will say once again, finally, as the drivers have said, thank you, James, for your time and your effort. I don't know if Steve's got anything else he might want to say to you.
I'm blushing here.
I've got nothing to say to James.
I have got one last thing to say, all right, and that is obviously doing commentating and doing admin stuff. It takes up personal time. So I actually want to thank James's partner, Sarah. Okay, her name's not Sarah. I just said that in case she was listening. She's like, "Who's Sarah?" To James's partner, Vicky.
You could get him in the
because
proper dog outfit.
I have.
Yeah, I do every week. Don't worry.
Yeah, but I want to say thank you to Vicky for number one putting up with James, and for number two allowing him to have spent the time with us on the broadcasts and on the commentary. So thank you very much to her. And James, next Valentine's Day, get her something more than a chocolate bar. She deserves more than a double decker.
Dave.
So anyway, yes.
I do have something to ask James, and it's something that you were going to have as the question of the day, but you didn't. And that is, James, there was a period in time where your missus had to go abroad for work to Australia.
Yeah.
How many times did you cry while she was away?
Because you missed her.
Because you missed her.
From what area of my body?
I just know. Those two balls above your nose, that sounded even worse than what I meant to say. I apologise for that. But no, that was actually going to be the question of the day. How many times did James cry because he's missed his partner when she moved to Australia for a few months?
I think it were mainly the morning after. Oh yeah, I looked to stay. Yeah.
So it took one day for you to get over your missus going.
Well, then my project cars came along, and my head was sorted then.
No.
Look, I think we should ask James to sign off for the final time.
Well, I'm not completely final because I've got my final Project Cars race this Sunday to commentate on.
Okay.
But for Formula 1, all I'm going to say is what a fantastic race to end my F1 commentary career on. And thank you everybody, to all the viewers that watch, because we do it for you, and all the drivers that participate. Fantastic action, and all I can say is thank you very much as well to my commentary team. I couldn't do it without you.
We know that.
I tried not to say that, but no, we might wind him up, but we do love him.
We do love him.
So anyway, again, thank you, James. Okay, next on the Front Row Racing YouTube channel is tomorrow for the World Series, and there's been a few drivers on there saying, please curse it to make sure it doesn't rain. But if the race is anything like today's has been, we're going to be in for another fantastic show. So yeah, come and join us for that. About 7:25 PM UK time, live on the Front Row Racing YouTube channel. And also, we are going to try and broadcast the final round of the FRR Rough Cup on Project Cars on Friday from 8 p.m. So come and join us for that. It's a title decider, the last round, and then also James's final goodbye on Project Cars on Sunday for the final round of the DTM Championships, again 8 p.m. So come and join us on that one if you want to listen to me wind him up as much as I can on his last day. But again, thank you very much to the drivers, to the viewers. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. And if you do want to get involved in F1 or Project Cars on Front Row Racing, come and check out the Front Row Racing Facebook page and drop us a message. And for the Project Cars, you can also find the Front Row Racing Project Cars community. So thank you very much. Steve, if you want to say the final goodbye, and we shall all go.
Yeah, and that is the final goodbye. And just want to say that has been absolutely epic. And we'll see you all again soon.
Take care, everybody.